All right, let's get you guys the inside scoop from the Devils' ugly 8-5 loss to the Tampa Bay Lightning Tuesday night from Devils Insider podcast host Jeff O'Connor. Jeff, what's going on, man? Thanks for hopping on with us, bro, and answering my tweet. Thanks, man.
No, you got it, Brandon. Appreciate you, man. I remember watching you in some of those Giants preseason games. I would go to the preseason games every year, and I got to see you in there. So this is fun.
All right, Giants lost, Devils lost, but it's all good because hockey is, millions of games that they play. Let's break this one down. Yes, it was an ugly loss, but I don't know, Jeff. I saw some grit. I saw some resiliency, but I think you'd agree with me that we saw some sloppy hockey as well. So let's get your thoughts on the loss.
Yeah, the first 40 minutes, there was a lot of that in terms of giving pucks away, especially in the D zone. You know, they really struggled with their breakouts in this game, so that was a big challenge for them. And then, honestly, I thought the biggest struggle was them just being passive off the puck. Really, when they didn't have the puck in any of the three zones, they weren't able to get it back. You know, when they were in the D zone, they got hemmed a lot. There was a lot of long shifts, so they were gassed a lot trying to get out of their own zone. When Tampa had the puck and got it in their own defensive zone, the Devils really didn't have any semblance of a forecheck. They really couldn't go get the puck back and try and get some easy short ice that way. And they really didn't slow them down in the neutral zone either. There were not a lot of times the Devils shut plays off in the neutral zone and were able to get half ice counterattacks the other way. So that was a big issue. And Sheldon Keefe kind of called them out on that last game, the last game they played against the Washington Capitals over the weekend, where he called them out on their compete and effort. And you could certainly call that out again, especially in the second period and maybe a little bit at the end of the first period as well. So a little bit of an alarming from that standpoint, but they certainly tried to make a game out of it. But yeah, it's very sloppy in the first 40 minutes, no doubt.
Yeah, it's one thing when your head coach will call you out for the X's and O's, but when we're just talking about your competitiveness and your effort, that's never a good thing because your effort is the one thing that you can control. Before we get back into talking about the defense and the nitty-gritty of that, I want to get your thoughts on Devils forward Dawson Mercer getting called for goalie interference after he was pushed into Lightning goalie Jonas Johansson. You think that was unavoidable contact or nah?
The broadcast did a great job of breaking it down. You know, when you watch it in real time, you see if there's a little bit of contact and the forward with the puck crashes into the goalie, oftentimes they'll call goaltender interference. I know watching it in real time, I think that's kind of how I felt about it. So I can see why the officials maybe felt similar. But obviously when you watch the replay of it, Bryce Salvador did a great job of breaking it down on MSG. If you look at Mercer's path, he's more headed towards the corner or maybe the far post than anything. And then he makes a move to his left because he's either trying to go around the goalie or make a move to go backhand on the goalie, or he's ready for the contact coming from Victor Hedman. So he's starting to lean that way. So this way he's starting to brace for it a little bit. And then it's a clean play by Victor Hedman, too. There's not a penalty, I didn't think, on either side of that. So I can understand, you know, fans wanting a power play or, you know, maybe not the call against the Devils in that standpoint, but it was a shoulder-to-shoulder hit. The play should have just been called dead, right? I think that's what it was. It should have been called incidental contact. There should have been a face-off in the zone, and you move on from there. It was interesting after the postgame. Sheldon Keefe said he talked to Kelly Sutherland, the referee, about it, and he said he's awaiting word back for him. So the next time there's a Kelly Sutherland ref Devils game, I'm curious if anyone's going to ask him or circle back to that and see if he actually ever got an answer, because I'd like to know the answer.
Well, make sure you get us the inside scoop on that one, man. I'll be watching your podcast to see what Keefe gets in terms of answer-wise. But either way, it's hard to win when you give up 8 goals. So get back into the defense, man. What was up with the defense and Jake Allen?
Yeah, as far as the defense goes, again, they were running around a lot. They didn't get on bodies. You know, that was something they did a little bit earlier in the season. They were on guys' hip pockets in the D zone a lot. So even if the other team did have the puck, they were often basically right on them, you know, less than a half stride away from them where, you know, okay, they've got the puck, no big deal. They can't really do anything about it. They kept them to the outside, but this game just wasn't the case. They gave a little bit too much space, and those top 6 in the Tampa Bay Lightning, Anthony Cirelli, his line, and Braden Point's line, they're very good. So if you do give them time and space, they can carve you up and chew you up, and that's kind of what we saw tonight. And unfortunately, Jake Allen he had a really good first period. He was one of the reasons the Devils weren't behind coming out of the first period, but then it totally got away. I mean, the defense broke down on him. I think he's not the sole blame's not on him, but there was probably 2 of those first 6 goals before the game really got away that he probably wanted to have back. They were point shots that went in or shots from poor angles that kind of found their way in. So yeah, it all compounded to a poor effort on the defense. defensive side of the puck.
All right, so we can flush that game. They're still 5-3-1, but 2 of those wins were against the Sabres out in Prague. So grade their body of work 9 games into the new season.
I think it's a C+ thus far. You know, they are waiting for some bodies back. They're missing 2 of their best defensemen in Luke Hughes and Brett Pesce, and obviously they've got to come in and learn the new system, how they're going to work on the defensive side of the puck. So, but I think a C+ is fair because they do have 5 wins. 4 of them came against non-playoff teams. You know, they did beat the Washington Capitals, who went to the playoffs last year, but their most recent loss before the one last night against Tampa was to the Capitals, and the other ones are against Tampa, Toronto, and Carolina, kind of mainstays in the playoffs. So I think they're in a fair place, but they've certainly got to pick it up, and you don't want to compound they've lost in some form or another their last 3 games. So you want to see them pick it up here a little bit, so this way they don't start to feel like last year where they were treading water and then the season kind of got away from them. So plenty still, I think not bad, 5-3-1 for a start. I think it's C+, knowing that in theory there should be a lot better hockey ahead.
High school me is like C+, I'll take it. I'm bringing my report card home to Dad. Next up on the menu for the guys is the Detroit Red Wings. That goes down Thursday. Jeff, tell the people they can find you, man. Shout out the platform.
I appreciate it. You can find us at Devils Insiders on X, or you can find us, our podcast is available at, if you go to www.devilsinsiders.substack.com, you can find our podcast, all our content there.
All right, man. Got to get you back on pretty soon, man. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Brandon.